we'll do the recap. We'll do recap. Okay, so let's do the recap. Okay, so first of all, what is the first layer in our system? Any network, I mean, like our OSI model?
Physical
layer.
Okay, from top down.
Application layer.
Application. Okay, can you give me some application names?
web browser,
Web browser,
FTP
Okay.
server,
browser.
SMTP,
Okay, FTP, SMTP means like mail application, like that you tell. So everyone will understand. Mail application. Okay, yeah, that is like okay. Then any other thing? Zoom is also your application, right? Where you are communicating with me now. Okay. Then any other?
IMAP.
IMAP is also same mail related stuff only. Okay, but instead of SMTP, some other port it will be using. Okay. Then any other thing? Applications, simple network application, Skype, correct, right? Huh?
yes,
Then any other applications? You have so many applications. Telegram is there. Internet
Teams.
Explorer is there. Okay. I have so many things. See, I have MetaMask, which is something my own crypto world related softwares I have. Okay. So many things I have. Correct, right? Okay. All these things are applications. Okay. So whenever someone says, give me some example about the application, this thing you have to say. Okay. Next layer.
Presentation layer.
Okay. Two things. Whenever I say presentation, what is the answer you have to keep remember in your mind? Two things I have told you.
encoding and
Encryption.
encryption.
Yes, perfect. Presentation. Okay, like that, in a simplest way, you have to remember the things. So no need to worry about what it does. It says encoding, okay, encryption. Guys, I am very bad at typing. Okay, bear with me. That's it. Okay, please. Encryption and one more thing. Okay, now the web page is very big. From the server, it is coming. Correct, right? Correct, right? The web page is very big. Okay, so that getting the data from the server, okay, and directly as normal original images or original like entire web page as a content is very,
Compression.
yeah, so it is very difficult. So compression, it will happen there at the server side. Compression. So you will at the client side, it will. So this is for both. Now you have a web application here. The server side, you will have web server. You have client FTP application is there. The server side, you have FTP server. You have a mail client is here. You have a Gmail server or your Outlook server somewhere. Okay, and you have a Zoom application here. There is some Zoom server. It is both the peer-to-peer server also will have a similar kind of, you know, one by one layered structure. Okay, so this is the thing. Okay, so the compression is the important thing, that like it will be zipped and sent it. We will unzip, and if there is any encoding to be applied, like, you know, like lines has to be drawn, or the characters has to be changed to Chinese character properly onto the browser. Okay, if there is any encryption happen, we have to decrypt it. All that thing presentation will take care. Okay, now next layer is what?
Session layer.
Perfect. What is the work?
It actually maintains sessions such that each traffic
No,
is
what is
differentiated.
the, no, one example I want.
Cookies.
No. Yes, that's it. I don't want anything. I don't want anything. Yes, one word, it should tell the story. Okay, okay. Then cookies
Transport
is,
layer.
yeah,
Transport layer.
cookies for others who are just joined. Cookies is some kind of, you know, the ID which tells that, okay, whether the like login when you are doing, okay, you enter the username and password for the very first time. Okay, but the same Gmail, if you open it on your web in your web browser, the second time when you just like turn on the machine and go and open the browser and just enter the username and password. You have allowed something store this username and password, right? That actually what it had made is it has sent when the request went, right? It has sent, the server has sent you the like some cookie to store on your machine, that next time please don't come with username and password. For next 180 days use this particular cookie every time when you want to access gmail.com. Gmail.com web request will go. We will see the web related request next week. Okay, next week we will see web requests. Okay, one by one. Okay, so when it sent the Gmail, it sent along with that cookie, because already I have logged into the machine. So no need to send your username and password. When you just enter gmail.com like this, see. Okay, so immediately see, I did not enter anything. See, it is coming the Gmail. How? Because very like sometime before, okay, when I entered username and password, okay, and I've checked a box called as, okay, so like next time please log me in directly kind of thing. Okay, then it went, and then the server has sent me one cookie which is valid for some so and so time. Okay, so next time when I entered gmail.com and clicked enter, it went along with that cookie. It took that cookie. Hey, this is my pass. This is my VIP pass. Okay, so then the server took it and saw that, oh, you are, yes, really a VIP. Okay, I'm sending you the directly the mails itself. See this. Okay, and I'm able to see my mail. So that is the cookie part, and it is valid for specific time. Okay, but okay, yeah, let it be. So this is the session layer. And two more examples I have told you. Like sometimes what happens when you enter into the Gmail, correct, right? Banking applications, those cookies are not valid for very long time. They're valid for that particular page itself. Now you are in the HDFC web page homepage. Okay, from there to account summary page you want to go. That cookie is valid from that page. When you click on account summary page, server will give you new cookie. Okay, that is the reason after going to the server page, okay, when you click back button on your browser, it will throw you like session as expired, because that cookie is not with you. Okay, you didn't even ask the server. Back button is internally only, it will check going back to that particular thing. Since it is not there, the application won't display anything, because back button is not allowed and your session is expired, like that. Okay, so the cookie is not valid from the banking applications forever. It is from one page to another page. Got it right? That's why so much security. It's all deals with the money. Okay, so whenever I say transport,
TCP, UDP.
yes, how many we have? TCP and UDP, correct, right? TCP. Okay, TCP is what type of connections we will use? Connection.
Reliable.
Two words I have told. One word only, like, I mean, not one word, two words you have to remember: delay, okay, and delivery, correct, right? Okay, data should not be lost, correct, right? Lost. Even if delay happens, no problem. Okay. Data should not be lost when I'm sending. Okay, UDP. Okay, delay should not be there. Okay, I will just keep it there. Okay, delay should not be there. Okay, so I am talking to you. Okay, the data first when you launch the browser. Okay, now the presentation, boss, I know Chinese, I know English, I know everything. You're telling it to the server, like how it has to communicate before you are requesting that web page. If you are logging in from China, then your browser automatically adds, it is like, okay, this guy knows Chinese, English, everything he knows. Based on the server like the client location, you can send whatever page you want. That's why sometimes what happens is, if you are in Poland, or if you are in, France, or if you are in Russia, okay, when you try to log into any Amazon application, that country specific web page only it will be displayed. Like in India, it is most of the people they speak English, so we will get like Amazon website as English. But if you see it in China, or if you go to France, or if you go to some other applications, the country specific language website only will be open. They didn't give anything, they just gave Amazon.com itself. But the language in the web page, it will be like their own native language. Okay, so how it is possible? When I am requesting itself, I have sent the what language I'll be, and what encryptions I can support, and what compressions I can support, all those, along with whether I need to cookie or not, all those that information I've sent. But now, say for example, browsing data request I've created. I want to go to so and so web page. Now the TCP or UDP I have to choose. So web browser is something, all the data it has to be displayed on the screen, and no other and data should not be lost. Okay, if is it okay for you, as I said on that day, the home page itself, like with these three images, something which is with white patch, that nothing is, sorry, this with white patch on the screen, that no image is there, and remaining everything is plotted. It's a bad means like bad experience to the customer. Just bringing the data very fast is not important here. Giving an excellent experience to the customer is important. What if here computer appliance is there, but shop now is there? What is the image here? Nothing has shown. Okay, fit and home is there, but here no image is there, but explore now button is there, or the image is there, explore button is not there. So bringing the data very fast to this kind of services is not ideal. So in this kind of services, we use TCP. Same way file transfer, we will use TCP. Transport control messages, where which services the transport we will use for the services where the delay can happen. Bringing the data from the server to my system, delay is tolerated. I'm okay with that, but data should not be lost. Okay, so that is the TCP. UDP, I and you are talking now over the Zoom. My data sometimes will be lost. That's not a problem, but I would like to communicate with you in real time. That is the main objective of that is my main objective. So how I am achieving that is like using the UDP. UDP, what it will do? It will just takes the data from here, from this particular client, okay, and to the server it will be just sending. Okay, but whereas this is UDP, whether this guy is least bother whether this guy is receiving or not. Okay, I'll be like talking. After some time, I'll come to know that my network is very slow, and you guys are not able to hear to me properly. Then after some time, you guys will be shouting, "Sir, we are not able to. You are not audible properly. You are not. Your voice is getting cut." So that means, okay, this data, whatever I'm sending, 100% it is not reaching to you guys. Okay, in that particular sense, okay, we are using UDP for that kind of particular services. UDP, where voice, okay, all these things are most of the times repeated tasks. What are those repeated tasks? I'll show you. Okay, but here as of now, just remember that like call and videos, and also for repeated tasks we use UDP. Okay, so and like the DNS is one such thing, repeated task. Imagine if you are opening a web page, you are entering google.com, okay, and this is the first time. Okay, imagine like 1 lakh people are there, okay, in your office. And what is the like to get to know about how to reach google.com somewhere in the internet, google.com web server, somewhere in the internet, this machine will have an IP address. This IP address you don't know. So you have to get in touch with the local DNS server to get the IP address of this machine, because only google.com name. From name to IP address you have to get it converted. So for that, what you will send DNS request. If you are alone sending a DNS request, okay, that is fine. But in our offices, how many people will be there? And like 1 lakh people are there. They are like every day at least 10 to 15 new websites they are actually trying to, some websites they are trying to reach. So it is like more than 10 million requests that this DNS has to serve. So for that kind of things, okay, the server will be loaded with like lot of requests. Okay, so instead of like sending a request like DNS request and the server responding as a TCP, it's not an ideal where the connections of all these missions who are requested the DNS request has to be maintained. To avoid that, what they will do is they will use UDP, where the request will be sent irrespective whether the DNS has received or not. It will send 3 times the request. If it is getting the response back from the DNS server, what is the IP address, then it will be like like it will wait, or else it will be like again you have to enter google.com and you have to enter. So remember one thing, for such kind of repeated tasks like multiple systems sending DNS request, where the request has to be maintained. Oh, now I have received the request from this machine, now I have received the request from this machine, that kind of thing it has to maintain as a TCP. Okay, so to avoid such kind of TCP connection maintenance, okay, we use UDP. Okay, TCP, what happens, I will show you now. The request is sent from the client to the server. Okay, okay, so it is not a request, what I can say, it is a connection request. Before you send this what is www.google.com to them, first you have to establish the connection. Boss, are you ready to communicate with me? Okay, then the server says I am ready. Okay, so it will store some information saying that this client from this particular location has asked me to connection request. He has asked like that. If one machine, he will keep it here on database will be there. Okay, connection requests and all, who and all are asked. 1 lakh machines are there. Then 1 lakh entries it has to maintain. That is the main TCP thing. Connection status, we say. So someone has asked me the connection, I have sent him that I am ready. That kind of status, it will be maintained here. Okay, if this guy doesn't respond, okay, I have received your response received from you, means from the server, like that you have to update it to the server. Okay, till that this message comes, this guy will be like keeping this entry in the database. I am waiting for this guy to come and contact me so that I can actually allow him. Okay, so that kind of thing, it will be waiting, but this guy doesn't respond. Ultimately it is using your resources, that is the server resources. These are called as attacks. You have anyone heard about DDoS attacks? Anyone heard?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, what they will do, they will send a request for connection. Okay, and your server will send back a response, but you don't send this third message that okay, I have received it. So it will be waiting for 10 seconds or something like that, hoping. If 10 seconds you are not letting, if the connections, number of connections per server is 10,000 or 1 million, but this guy is occupied one of it, and if he sends 1 lakh connection request, this server capacity of connection status will be filled. Okay, the normal user, real user, here he has faked it, everything, all these requests are faked. 1 lakh request this guy only sent. Okay, and server told I am ready to connect with you guys, but these guys are not responding and they are making it to wait for some time. So normal customer has come, and normal customer has also sent, but the server is full already. This guy will get, boss, server full. Okay, that is server error. You don't have, like, we are not able to serve at this point. So 10 second is over. Then after 10 second, if any of the connection gets released, this guy will go and get connected. But these guy attackers are not like that. What they will do, when this is inactive, another 1 million connections they will generate from different fake clients, and they will send. They will send from every machine connection request, connection request, connection request, like that. From the server side, it will be like, I'm ready to accept, I'm ready to accept. But you don't say that, okay, I've received your response that this is my request, like that. You are not going to send. Unnecessarily all the server resources are utilized, and it is a big problem. Okay, every organization which is a small company to a very big company, even in the crypto world where I'm, like, it is completely decentralized. Okay, they are actually targeting those servers. Okay, any area you take it, okay, it is like, the DDoS, I mean DOS. Okay, DDoS is what I'll explain it later. But denial of service means a genuine user, because of this fake request from multiple systems to this system server. Okay, the genuine user is not able to, okay, is not able to get the service. Denial of service. My server has denied even though I'm a genuine user. Okay, so imagine this kind of connections. If we tables, if we keep it here, 1 lakh machines, if they come, the server will be gone. Okay, so that's why every system will send three requests, okay, of DNS requests. Yeah, I want DNS, I want DNS, I want DNS requests, like that. If the server receives it, it will respond. Okay, if it doesn't receive at that moment, it is busy. That means what you'll do, you'll just again enter google.com and you'll again enter. That time it will go, and that time it might be serving. So that's why we don't have any connection maintenance at where, at a DNS server. So that's why DNS uses which protocol for transport? If not TCP, what it is? UDP. UDP. You just send it. The server, when it receives, it will send response. It doesn't maintain any connection, status maintenance. Okay, so like your audio, all these things uses UDP, and also for DNS it uses UDP. Okay, so transport, where we are going to use some web pages, FTP, mails, all these things uses. Like, is it okay for you only half mail only? If you see it, no, you want to receive it. So boss, first give me a connection. I want to talk to you. Then this connection gets established, and then you will send a request that, okay, now the connection is there, right? On top of that, I want this www.google web page. Then for that, server response with that web page back to you, and it will be displayed onto your screen. First connection has to be established. Okay, first remember, first connection has to be established. Connection has to be established in between client and server. Okay, so the connection, first part is connection establishment. Okay, 3 steps. One, I want connection to establish with you. Okay, and the response for you is, okay, I want the connection to be established. I want connection with you. Okay, and the server, I am ready. Here, whenever I say TCP, it will have the connection status table will be there. Okay, so the entry from the client one, okay, so and so machine, client one, so and so machine, some IP address, okay, has reached me at this time. Okay, and what is the status? Sorry, I have sent a response to him. Like that, it will be maintained in the table in this machine, so that it will be maintained. Now the client will say, thanks boss, your connection response as okay, I have received. Okay, received. Like that, client will tell it to the server. Now then immediately this will send a request. This one only will send, I have received it, now I am sending the request. That is, I want www.google.com or amazon.com or something. This is the connection is maintained. Connections is trans. If like what happens is it is sending the some kind of data back, right? Say that is web page first, some part it will send, okay, some chunk. Then it will send, I have received the first part. Then it will send the second part related thing. Okay, then it will send, I have received the second part. Okay, then it will send then this one, that much only, everything is over. Now the connection, I mean, like end of the packets kind of thing. Okay, which is like vague way I'm explaining, but we will see it later. And then once the this particular part is called as data transmission. Okay, the first, the connection, this part is called as connection establishment, and this part is data transmission. Okay, and then after that, like your web page you have received, and on the screen, this is like in fraction of second this will be happening. You don't even make out all these things, whatever from top to down you have seen, right? Everything within like fraction of second it is happened. Then after that, you are done with your work, right? Okay, now this entry, whatever it is, has to be removed. So what you will do, either server or you, anyone, okay, depending upon the application. Okay, like usually server, because all the data it is sent, right? Example, okay, we'll send a like by request, I mean like tear down. So for that, okay, something like okay, it is done, connection has been teared down. Okay, so now that entry will be removed. Okay, and the current active sessions will be there, that's it, in the table, whichever the other customers who are sent, your entry will be gone. Okay, your status is not required to maintain. Okay, got it, right? The transport layer, how it works, TCP, is it clear? Anyone is having any doubt? TCP related, any doubts you have now as a theory part? Forget about other parts, theory part, guys. Your silent doesn't mean that you know everything, or okay.
No doubt, sir. It's clear.
Everyone. Okay, Nandini said no doubts, or it is no.
No doubts, Raghav.
Okay, yeah. Anyone clear? Okay, Rene, are you clear?
Yes.
Francis? Okay. Who else I have? Okay, Revant, is it clear for you? Varsha, Revant, Vasavi, everything is clear, right? Because these are very important topics for us. Further proceeding, these are very, very important. We are not dealing with a hell lot of any technologies, only these kind of simple things only we use. TCP, UDP, source port, destination port, nothing else is required for us. Okay. Okay, fine. Let us move. Okay. Super. Okay. Oh, sorry, man. So we have TCP to the services, where the application is developed in a way that TCP it uses for connecting to the server, or it might be uses UDP for connecting to the server, not connecting it for transmission of the data. Okay, so this is an important question, 100%. So that is the reason why I specify a lot. 100% question, that is TCP difference, between TCP and UDP. Whether you are strong in network or not, they will just with this explanation of your answer, they will know that, okay, you are network related knowledge, anything you have or not. Okay, so then IP. See, boss, remember one thing, whatever the internet, okay, you don't know what are the systems there in the internet, where what it is there, we don't know. Okay, to just to reach those systems with your names, it is not possible. Every system, it has to pass through internet. I mean, like through various routers or the internet. As I shown you in the first class, that internet is made of so many routers. Okay, so each router doesn't understand whatever the domain name which you are bringing. Hey boss, I want to go to the so and so place. Okay, then you want to go to google.com. I don't know what is meant by google.com. Seriously, I know only IP addresses because I'm a router. If you tell me about any specific IP you want to reach, I'm ready to help you out. I can tell you which direction you have to take to reach that particular router. So IP address is the end, like whether it is a server or if it is a mobile or if it is your the system, laptop, or any router or anything, any system which is connected to the network will have an IP address. Okay, that IP address will help you to reach the the internet. Okay, you have a name kind of thing which others can remember. Okay, so if I say this particular I say like Bangalore block 5. I mean like Jayanagar 4th block. I say 4th block means it is a set of location where the area is there. 4th block is there, and at that which home it is. It is house number 50 or something like that. So that kind of representation is there. Means which network you belongs to, and in that which house number yours. So remember that. Okay. Yeah. Whatever shit, man. Okay. So whatever 192.168, your local machines, what I mean to say, okay, is 10 is there, say for example. Okay. This says that, okay, it has got some network part. Okay. Plus it has got some, okay, host part. Host part. Why I'm saying this, remember this. Okay. You belongs to some operator. You're subscribed to some operator, that is like internet service provider. Okay, so your operator has got so many devices. Okay. Okay, this is a mobile, this is a PC, this is a laptop at your home. Okay, at your home, this is one router, all are connected to this, and my home. Okay, I don't have so many devices at my room. Okay, so don't think I have so many. I have one or two, that's it. Okay, and this is someone else, like say consider this is my only one laptop is there and one phone, that's it. Okay, and this is someone else. Okay, they have, okay, some office. Okay, and they have hundreds of machines. In between so many firewalls and everything comes, but for our simplification I have given this. Okay, so what they will do to reach this particular point, the routing point, you have to have, like these systems can have internally, okay, these systems will have local IP address. Okay, these systems will have all these local IP address, these systems. But your routers, your router, okay, to connect to the internet, if these machines has to connect to the internet, okay, or these machines has to connect to the internet to connect to the internet, some Google server or anything. Okay, they need public IP address. These are public IP address. Public IP address. Because if someone from, okay, like me, or someone like from some far away, like, you know, Rene or someone wants to send any message to me, it has to be through internet, correct, right? Local IP addresses for only what purpose, you know? Okay, this is to, hey man, okay, to address reusing. Okay, I will tell you what is the address problem. Okay, so total like 0.0.0.0 is the first IP address. Okay, and total how many addresses we can arrange, that's what I'm saying. This is one, just 0.0. Nowhere will be there, but just imagine how many we can. Okay, this is 2, 3, like that, 0.0.0.0.255. Okay, these many systems you can accommodate in this network. Okay, this is called as a network part, and this is how many systems you can accommodate. Like that, this network part can be increased to something. Sorry, 0.0.1 to 1. Okay, then 0.0.0.1 to 2, 0.0.0.3, 4, like that, 255. Then next comes other IP range, 0.0.221, 222, like that. So like this, if you increase, it will go 255.255 systems you can communicate. The next part it is, then this is also our 0.0.1.0.1, like this it will be. So total till 255.255.255.255 at the end, like that, if you increase. Okay, so how many IP addresses you can have is maximum 4 billion IP addresses to the entire world. 4 billion IP addresses, entire world. But imagine, okay, as of now in the Google, I'll show you how many devices, networking devices they are active now. Okay, how many internet devices are there in the world? Internet means connections which are live. Okay, so 4 billion, correct, right? Okay, now let me show you. Okay, 255 into 255, 4 times I have to put this into 255 into 255. This is 4.2 billion, because 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, this is a billion part. So 4.2 billion devices only you can, like maximum you can accommodate. You can accommodate how many, each and every system, if we give one IP address. Okay, like my mobile, if I give one IP address, if I give my laptop one IP address permanently. Okay, permanently, like I have Mac, right? Mac I have permanently, right? Like that, if I give, okay, permanently, I can have only 4.2 billion, 4.2 billion IP addresses. No, it is not sufficient for us. It is not at all sufficient for us, because 4.6 devices only are there which are currently actively on internet. If each device has provided one, okay, what is the problem? Many other devices which are just turned off, If they again turn on, okay, they won't get the IP address. Okay, that's why what they have done. Hey, boss, this is a very big problem. Okay, we'll do one thing. Okay, for internally, okay, based on the size of your network, based on the size of your network, you use private IP address, private IP, that is for local IP addresses, local IP address, that is called as private IP addresses. Okay, but for to connect to the internet, for connecting to the internet, use public IP address, use public IP addresses. This will have a public IP, this will have a public IP, like so many public IPs in between, because it is going through so many routers, right? And this will have a public IP. Okay, this is office of google.com. They have their main entrance will have one router that will have a private public IP address. Okay, so this IP addressing, okay, this private IP addresses, what we can do here, I can use 192.168.1.1. the same IP address I can also use here, 192.168.1.1. I can use it. The same thing I can use it here as well, 192.168.1.1. Same thing I can use here also in Google, 192.168.1.1. But whereas public IP address, if I use the 62.3.5.7 is there. Here, this is also 62.3.5.7. If it is there, means if a request comes, whether it has to go this way or it has to go this way, it is a confusing. So public IP addresses are never be duplicated. You can create it, okay, but the internet won't allow it. Okay, so public IP addresses which operator gives us, right? Okay, that is unique. Okay, now let us see which IP addresses we can use as public and which IP addresses we can use as private. First, before I further proceed, okay, do we have any doubts with respect to the why we need public IP and why we need private IP? Everyone? Guys, everyone?
No.
Chris,
Yes.
Varsh, you have? Okay. Varsha, everything is clear or you have any doubt?
Yes, sir. No, sir. I have everything is clear.
Okay. And Anil, any doubt? Zubair, first
No,
class,
sir.
any confusion? Vasavi, first class, any confusion?
Sir. No, sir.
Okay. Janel, Muhammad, any doubt, Muhammad? Okay.
Clear, sir.
Okay, fantastic. Okay. NAT, we will talk about it later. I will explain when firewall comes into the picture, right? That time I'll explain NAT. Okay. NAT is the one which converting from your private address if it has to go to the internet, right? Like your data from your local area to it has to go to the internet, right? That time NAT happens. We will see it later. I will show it. Okay. But now, I'm just telling about only what is private IP address. Okay. 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 Now see what IP addresses we can use. Private IP addresses classes. Okay. Internally in office, these are the IP addresses you can use internally or at home. Okay, I will show you here. Okay, yeah, these are called as private addresses classification. Okay, small company, okay, use this class. Big company, use this class. Medium company use this class. Okay, because unnecessarily that your router or anything, if it is configured, even for the small company, if you are like big IP addresses range, if you give, it'll be like putting for a LKG student, you're putting, like the pressure of, like MBBS syllabus. Okay. So to avoid that, small company, okay, use this so that very simply your router or anything easily can manage it. Okay. Big company, okay, use this, it will be more suitable for you. Mid-sized company, why you like, even though you are like an adult, but you're like you cannot choose like a child kind of syllabus, or you cannot choose like a like a doctorate or master's kind of something syllabus. Better like you consider a teenager or something like that. Okay, so this particular class A usually for big organizations. Big organization, okay, they can use this classification. Why means, okay, imagine from 10 dot, this is the network part. Okay, this is the network part. This is the the systems part. Okay, now imagine 10 dot 1 dot, okay, 10 dot 0 dot 0 dot 1. Okay, 10 dot 0 dot 0 dot 2, 10 dot 0 dot 0 dot 3. Okay, like this, if you see how many systems we can accommodate, 10 dot 0 dot 255. Example, just remember. So it will be 255 plus, okay, 10 dot 0 dot 1 dot 1 means 256, 257. How many systems you are in your organization can be called private systems you can accommodate. Like that, if you take it, so many systems for big organization, you can create till 10 dot 255 dot, sorry man, I don't know the exact number, to be frank. Okay, you can calculate it. Okay, like I will show you here how many. That is 255 into, means this part, into 255 into this last part, 255, sorry, 255 is equal to 65,000. I don't think that is the case. 255 into 255 into 255. That is the thing. Yeah. So how many you can accommodate? 1.6
16 million.
16 million. Yeah, 16 million. 16 million machines you can connect. Say, which organization will have so many machines, man? Correct, right? Okay, because three network portions, I mean like three host portions we have in this particular. From 0 it will start host portion. Okay, so 0, like this is all host portion. Host means systems, how many systems you can accommodate. That is 255, 255 into 255. From 0 to, like, you can have, this can be 0 dot 0 dot 0 dot 1, 0 dot 0 dot 0 dot 2, like that. So many machines. Okay, that is the class A. Okay, now let us see how many machines we can accommodate uh, uh, in the other part. Okay, that is class B. Class A is understood by all you guys, right? Okay, shall I move to class B?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now if you see this particular part, how many host parts are there? This all is network part. How many host parts are there? only how many systems we can accommodate? 172.168.0.1. Correct, right? 172.168.0.2. Like that. Okay, if you see 172.168.1 dot 0.255. Next, one more system you can accommodate, that is multiple systems, still more systems you count. 172.168.1.0, because the host portion now it is turned out to be one more network portion. Okay, 172.168.2.1, like that. So like that, how many systems? 172.168.255.255, and before to that 172 dot, sorry, 16, man, sorry, I'm extremely sorry, this is 16. Okay, 255 till here. Okay, then again comes 172 dot, okay, 17.0.1. okay, 172 dot, okay, like that till 255, 172.17.0.1.2, 172.17.0.255. Then after that 18.0.1. okay, like that 172.19.0.1. Then means like here I am just not writing them, okay, till 255.255, 172.17.255.255, 172.18.255. But how many machines we can accommodate means just an average you can calculate 255 into 255. Okay, like that only for C. This actually is like for very home office or simple home network. For those kind of things we use, this is mid-size company. Class B is for mid-size companies. Class C is for us, like at our home. In my room, if I have only, alone means like I can have only the router. I can keep it over here. That's it. And one private IP is enough. That is providing some. Sorry. Is enough for me, my router, to provide one IP address if I have only laptop. If I have laptop and mobile means I can have use multiple things, like how I can say, like my mobile is there, my laptop is there, my my home appliance device which is connected is there, my TV is there. Okay, if that is the case, like altogether maximum like 255.255 machines. But whereas here, okay, 16, okay, into 255 and like that, how many here? 16 to 31, how much is the count? That is 16, right? Okay, that is correct. Okay, so how many systems in class B you can do it means 16 to 31, right? That is total 16 is the count. Okay, okay, so how many in class B? 16 into 255 into 255. So this is almost 1 million, correct, right? 1 million devices you can accommodate in class B, because 16 to 31 it is someone, I think, could you please go on mute? Okay, 16 to 31 it is, I think, 16. Okay, 15 or 16, just calculate it, into 255 into 255. Okay, so that all together it will give us 1 million. Okay, but whereas it here only 255 into 255, 65,000 something it will give us. Okay, where it is. Okay, 255 into 255, 65,025, correct, right? Got it, right? Hmm? Guys, got it right, everyone?
Yes.
Everyone. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Clear, right? So just remember here, whatever it is, like 255 into 255 into 255. Sorry, here from here, 255 into 255 and 258. Those many number of systems, but in front of it, it is 10. That is a private IP address. Private IP addresses should start with either 10 or 172, or it should start with 192. Remember this perfectly. Okay, this is an interview question. Okay, private address. Tell me the range of private address. He'll ask. You have to just tell this thing: 10.0.0.0.22, 10.255.255.255. Okay. If you want to remember, you can remember the range and tell. These many systems for big organizations can be used. Class B, 172.16.0.0.22, 172.31.255.255. It will be used for mid-range organizations, and this is the range. How many IP addresses you can assign? Private IP addresses. How many systems you can accommodate in that organization? And class C, okay, it is like 192.168.0.0.2, 192.168.255.2. Very small. Our home offices are at home, or some other like small offices, they can use it. And this is like 65,000 systems we can accommodate. Okay. Now this is every system in the world will have, okay, the apart from these IP addresses, and some other IP addresses like 0.0.0.0. This is called as loopback address. Means our system will only have, if I want to communicate with me only, whether my interface is working or not, my network interface is working or not, to check it, loopback address. Okay, this is like kind of reserved for specific thing. Like this IP address is called as broadcast. If I am in my home network, okay, I want to reach, okay, all the systems within the network. My router wants to tell everyone something. Okay, my router wants to tell everyone something. Okay, that particular communication, to communicate with everyone within the network. Like if it is 172 network, everyone I want to communicate. Or if I want to communicate 192.168 network, everyone. If I want to communicate 10.0 to everyone, even 10.0.0.1 to 10.255.255.255, every system I want to send some message. Okay, for that kind of thing, we'll use broadcast address. Okay. Then okay, 127.0.0.1, like you have Splunk instance created, okay, or you are running some developer running some Python web application, you want to test it. Okay, so locally you need to have some space where you can launch the web pages, correct, right? You need some server kind of thing, it has to work. That is called as a local host. Okay, for that kind of works and all, we'll use like locally hosting some web applications or some file servers or anything to host locally, to make your system as a web server for you alone, for your network alone, or for your machine alone. Okay, to do that you need this. Whoever it is, I would request, please, Chris, could you please put it on mute?
Sir, I have a question, sir.
Yeah, give me a second, I'll just put him on mute. Okay, fine. Okay, tell me. Yeah, Revan.
Sir, this 127 local host and the loopback
Oh
address
God.
range is same, no,
Okay.
sir. I'm sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, the local.
Local host IP range 127 and loopback address IP range would be same, I think, sir. I mean,
Loopback is like, sometimes your system only wants to tell something to your system, whether I am active or not. Okay, to check
okay.
itself, my network interfaces are up or not. Okay, to check itself, to ping itself internally, not to some other machine. Okay, to
Okay,
do
sir.
that,
Okay.
it will use 0.0.0.
Okay.
Whether you have internet or you are connected to the LAN or anything, irrespective. I just want to check myself. I am network wise, I am okay or not. Okay. And this 127 is, I will show you Splunk instance. Okay. Localhost. Okay. On my local host. Okay. On specific port, I have installed Splunk. Okay. This is my Splunk. On my, I will log in from here. I have installed on my machine only. To connect to Splunk, I'll use port 8000. And I have Python, some software web application I've created. I have installed it on my so-and-so port, that is port 88. Example, when I click that, that application will launch, that Python application. Okay. If I have my own web server, something I've created, that time I'll use some other port. But localhost, to make something accessible for you, you can use this localhost. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. So
Okay.
can you show the example for this one as well? I mean, if possible.
Which one?
Local, this loopback.
Loopback, like you need to have some router or anything, GNS or anything. I have, I
Okay.
think, but it is like, it takes a lot of time and resource.
No
I
problem,
mean,
sir.
like
No problem.
no need. Actually, we don't
I
require
mean, it will be mostly used in routers, right? Not
router.
on the
Yes,
personal
yes,
PCs.
yes,
Okay.
yes, yes. I'm just giving you the heads up. That's it. What it is.
Okay,
Okay.
sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So this is the thing. So this is, okay, the class C. Okay. This is class B. I mean, like, this is class B and this is class A. Okay. And what you have is, these things are private IP addresses. Okay. And some of the uh, I mean, like, IP addresses are dedicated for specific tasks are these. And apart from these IP addresses, everything is public IP addresses. Okay. Everything is public IP addresses. If you want to know, like, operator wise public IP address range. Okay. You can go to this array, because someone has to organize this, right? The internet. Okay. This organization will actually guide each and operator. Okay. Like, what are the IP addresses they have to use. Okay. Um, say IP ASN register. Okay. Let me go here. Operator wise by public IPs. Okay. Yeah. Here it is the Indian. Okay. So Bharati Airtel has got, this is this is the number of IPs, public IPs I'm talking about. Okay. For GPRS, what kind of IP addresses, all those things, everything. Okay. Oh, shit. Did I do anything wrong? Oh, here it is. Okay. So this is the thing. Okay. But I have seen it. Okay. Public. This is country wise. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Go here. When I say country, it's not your local, right? So everything, it will be this thing. If you take, control of US, most of the times you'll be dealing with these. Yeah, you take India first. Okay, here it is. We got it. Okay. So, yeah, from this IP to this IP, okay, is also India range. 1.222 is also India range. Maybe in between, some other range might have given to some other country. Okay. 1.38 to 1.39 is also India's. Like that, you have so many IP addresses. Okay. Any other like that? Okay, I think you got the fair amount of information with respect to this. Okay, anywhere, somewhere we will put ASN numbers. We'll see. Okay. Yeah, ASN country wise I'll give. ASN. I am getting the same thing again and again. Okay, let it be. I'll give that if I find anywhere. Okay, these are the operators. Okay, Ford Motors is using like specific ranges are not given here, but there should be some range, the country wise only, but which is not here. These are all only RFCs. Okay, I don't have that link as of now, but I'll show you. Okay, let it be. I don't want to waste that time on this particular thing. Okay, so the private address, it is not a public, so it is for your office alone. The same IP addresses can be your office can use, my office can use, anyone's office can use. These IP addresses can be reused. All these whatever I have given from top to this extra reserved things also can be reused anywhere, but public IP addresses cannot be. As I showed you, Bharti Airtel this range to this range, and Vodafone this range to this range. So what happens if a customer, if they provide dedicated IP address, then if the customer switch off the machine, that IP address is getting wasted. Instead, what they will do, they will buy certain ranges of IP addresses. Then as soon as a system customer is live, then they will provide the IP address using something called as DHCP. Giving means to your router, they will give. Okay. But whereas if it is your mobile, okay, they will give it to your mobile itself, not the end device. Okay. But your mobile, if you are in office or if you are in home connected to the Wi-Fi, then you will have only private IP address. But if you are outside of your Wi-Fi range and you are within the range of any cellular signal, then you will get the IP address, public IP address from your operator onto your mobile. Got it right? How it happens? Okay, your operator has got something called as DHCP, Dynamic Host Control Protocol. What is the IP address I should assign it to my routers that are connected to me? Will be given it to the, okay, that IPs will be, public IPs will be given it to the all the routers that are connected to that operator, or all the mobiles that are connected to that cellular network operator. Okay, but one more thing you have to remember, same DHCP protocol will be used by our, okay, home routers, okay, our office routers, to assign IP addresses, private IP addresses to our systems or to our mobile phones when they connect to our, to that particular network or to that particular, the router. Got it right? Is that clear, everyone? Shall we proceed further?
Yes.
DHCP means what? Dynamic host control means dynamically we are only providing the, I mean, like the ISP providing the IP address from the ISP DHCP server. DHCP, there is one IP addresses assignment itself. It is a task. Okay. Some people, they use the router, whatever it is, their ISP will take care of it. Some people, they use software separately for to take this, whom I should assign what kind of IP addresses. In offices, they will install DHCP servers usually. Okay. And or they configure the DHCP in the routers itself. Okay. Any of these two. Okay. We will go through that things later, like using the call flow. Okay. I don't want to confuse. I'll just give one small, like when we have the interview questions, I'll be sharing, right? Okay, last week I had only 4 questions, so I couldn't, I don't want to share that. Okay, so let the majority of the interview questions gets filtered. So you are ready now with the answers, what you are giving, you are okay. You are at the right shape for this particular batch. So nothing to worry about that. Okay. So I'll be sharing, right? That time, go through that call flow clearly so that you will get clarity. Okay, I'll be explaining the DNS and that particular part in that interview questions itself in that particular video. Okay, I might not be repeating it here at this class anytime, but that video you will receive it by before this Wednesday. Okay, and that is newly created video for you guys alone, not in the class, but people who wants to join that particular class, you are welcome. But I'll be recording it privately. But if you want to come and listen, not an issue. If you have interest, you can ping me. Okay, not a problem. Okay, so that thing. Okay, so this is the thing. Okay, so this IP address. Okay, we are giving 2 things. Okay, one is this is called as network, right? Okay. Guys, you want break? Because I'll be hardly taking another 20 minutes. I don't think we need any break, because today I have to be rushed to that vaccine, right? So do you need break? Anything? We can finish and wrap it up after.
Yeah, that is fine.
Yeah. Fine. Okay. So network, okay, layer. Okay, this is a network layer where we'll be focusing on only 2 parts. What is our system IP address? What is our system IP address? That is called as, these are all nothing but the fields. Remember which application, which type of encoding or encryption. These are the fields that we are going to see in the logs. What is the cookie? What is the protocol, transport protocol, TCP or UDP? And what is the source IP? What is the destination IP? Means what is our IP and where it is going. Through DNS, we have got the destination address. Our IP address DHCP has provided, either if it is my router has provided me my source IP address. Okay, through DNS request, I entered google.com. Since I don't know what is google.com, I requested my DNS server to provide me. Even DNS call flow will also be there in that particular video. Okay, whichever I'm going to share, right? It will be there in that interview questions video. It will be there. Nothing to worry. In a very crystal clear way, I'll explain. Okay, but you must watch before you coming to the next class. Okay, but here I just want to make sure you guys are familiar with all these things before you get into that. Okay, where it is, yeah. Okay, source IP, destination IP. I will be writing it shortcuts. Okay, sometimes logs also will have some shortcuts, like to know the fields. Okay, so what is fields and all, nothing to worry, you will come to know it. But these are the things when we do log analysis, these are the parts we mainly focus. Okay, source IP and destination IP. Okay, headers you don't require, but still I'll be explaining those headers and all in some time. Okay, if possible tomorrow itself I'll explain. Okay, okay, this is this thing. Okay, and next is which layer? It's
Data link.
data link layer. Data link layer. Okay, data link layer. What is the fields you have to monitor?
MAC address.
Yes, SRC means your MAC address, your system MAC address. Your system MAC address means every system will have a MAC address. That MAC address you'll monitor. But one thing you guys have to remember, in SOC related thing, I have never, seriously telling, I have never worked on data link layer at all. Because it's nothing related, everything is on remotes. Correct, right? They are like somewhere in the internet or somewhere in some other part of the global region. Okay, so the source IP address is required, but that machines will be keep getting changed. So the machine gets changed, the network, whatever the motherboard, like it's the only software, it gets moved from one location to the another location. Or if it is a cloud, today you will be using here, due to some maintenance on this particular rack or this particular server, they move the same software to the other machine. That time the MAC will be different. So we don't know the MAC address. So always our systems to communicate, to reach the other internet bodies. Okay, so always what we'll have, destination MAC as next hop. We don't know at all what is the I mean, like MAC address of the destination, and you will never come to know also. If Google's what is the MAC address, you will never come to know because it is somewhere in the internet. Okay, DNS, it like told you what is the IP address because it is like through the network you have to reach. But his physical address, he has bought the machine, okay, and he has kept it over there, and his own machine's MAC address, why they will keep it in the internet? And there is no use also. It is for the local communication only. So for us, destination MAC means our MAC address of the router. So from my machine, the next hop where I'm gonna jump is my router. So till that location, I'll be jumping. Okay. Sorry, guys. So you have to, okay, you have to remember one thing. Okay, that is the destination MAC address when the packet moves from my device at home or from office to the router, it is the router's MAC address. And the router has to send it to the internet, right? It has to go to my operator or some other next hop. So that time the source will be changed to that router's MAC address for that particular packet, wherever it is carrying. And the destination will be changed to the next hop. Okay, now source and destination MACs got changed. All the remaining parts will be kept like that only, except one location. That is when NAT is happening, that is not the case. That NAT technology, I will tell it later. But as of now, nothing will get changed when it is going through the internet. Okay, only source MAC address and destination MAC addresses will be changed. Okay, okay. So as soon as when it is going from one location to the another, because when the other body receives it, oh, from where I've got means, oh, I have got it from my peer router. Okay, destination, it belongs to me only. Now I will open it and see what is in the network layer, and the destination IP address doesn't belong to me, so I am not the authorized person. And in the destination IP address, it says to so and so IP address. I know how to reach there. So what I'll do is I'll wrap it back and I'll put the source IP address as that particular router's IP address. And next, where it has to be sent, that IP address, that MAC address will be kept as destination. So no MAC addresses is, I mean, like IP address is getting changed. Only the MAC address of the source and destination will get changed, and it will be sent. Okay, like that, it will be keep moving over the physical layer, over the physical. That is that is over the internet. That is network. That is like through Wi-Fi or through the optical fiber cable. It will be passing through. Okay, so the other machine receives it, checks the data link layer, whether it belongs to it or not in the destination part, that MAC. If it belongs to it, then it will give it to the network layer. If it is a server, I mean, if it is, it checks in the destination IP address part. If it is the correct destination, then the IP address belongs to it. Then it will open it and see that what is there in the transport, and the transport will see it is TCP. It will give it to the TCP, and it will put it onto that particular pipe, the port number where it has to be sent, and it knows like what is the sessions related information, presentation, and that application server will respond to it. These three parts, okay, these three parts, which one? Okay, I'll take here only directly. these three part in real time is called as application, presentation, session is called as application layer only, because all these things will be there in one particular, either application server or application client will have all these three, because this is like whatever the client sends within these three, that particular like Zoom client will application will have all these three layers work it will do, our whatever our Zoom client application. Because when you enter Zoom username and password and click enter, okay, that whatever the presentation, like whatever voice encoding, like what kind of encoding and how long this session should be active, all those things in within the Zoom application only, right? So that's why application, presentation and a session will be taken care by the application itself, that is application client or application server. All these three layers are called as application layer. Okay, transport layer separate, network layer separate. Some people will say data link layer and physical layer both are same, both are same, and they say it as like physical layer instead of data link layer. So this is called as the logical way of representation, and the real world representation is this one. Okay, that is what I'm sorry. Yeah, this is a application layer, transport layer, network layer, and physical layer. Physical layer is both data link layer, and because your network interface card where you insert, right? That is, so you can say it as like data link layer and physical. Some books they say like that, but application, transport, network, data link and physical, you can say layer 5, 5 layer in real world, or it can be 4 layer also. People, some books they say it is only 4 layers, that is physical and data link layer as one. Okay, got it right? Got it right, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so with this, let's wind it up for today's class. So now we have almost covered the main core concept. Okay, now once we can slowly get into the, you know, the network part, we'll just wrap it up slowly, and then we will get into the, you know, the application layer specific things. Application, because most of the times you are like you want to know web application traffic, how it looks, you know, how so you should know like what is there in the web application. So then you have to know like what it looks to be like in uh, you know, the DNS request. Okay, that is also an application. You want to know like FTP server, how it looks. Okay, I mean like FTP data, how it looks. Okay, so how it works and everything, but not to certain extent like like installing application or anything. Sample log we will take, and we'll try to slowly understand them. But first I'll give you the functionality and then everything. One thing today I haven't covered is um, just for the some reason next week I mean like tomorrow I'll try to cover if I am able to recover today itself. The organization architecture, right? Okay, some more important parts like this LB where it comes, and when you enter google.com, what it is, that architecture is still pending, means you don't still have the bigger picture of real-time organization, I mean real organizations architecture. After finishing that only we are going to cover, but to do that all these things are important for us. Okay, but as I said, when you do investigation, only these parts are required for us, for anything, for writing the query or anything. Okay, nothing else is required. Maybe application specific or something you can when you are writing the query, but apart from that, nothing else. Okay. Oh yes, stop it.